heat it.
Pretty. Starts off.
You can see they start off white and they turn that deep burgundy color. Tom,
I'll have to give it to those people that...
what are you doing, Tom? Tom was given to us because he got attacked by a dog.
He's a good turkey, though. We're going to keep him here forever.
Look at him, he's strutting his stuff.
I've never seen this first time. Hey, you guys talk. You're a Tom and he's a Tom.
He talks Tom. Tom Turkey. We've rushed this project, or this process, I'll say, enough. So what have we learned? Well, we dropped the log on the ground again, right? And why do they roll off the mill onto the back side over here, right? It's because we don't have our backstops installed correctly or completely. So we know that our log needs to bump up against the backstop. And I'm gonna have to show you guys, I believe I've said it, but why can't we just come around to the backside and pick the log up? I'm going to show you why. Maybe don't need plastic. Alright. So with this cover that we put over the mill, when I build the timber frame front for this, I know that I'm gonna probably not have a post out further than, let's say, this far from the end of the mill, right? Because right now I have to take the log in and I have to wrap it around this post here to get it far enough down the mill. If I have the log too far down that way right now, when I get the extension on, it really won't matter for these shorter logs. But for the logs I have now, we can only cut 16 feet. So if I take the log and I run it too far down this way, right? If it's too far down to the end, I can't cut all the way through, and then I got to move the log back that way. I have a choice. I can come in and I can set the log down, which is probably the easiest thing to do, and then pick it up again and shift it over. But really what I want to do is I want to do it in one operation. I just want to come in and I want to wrap it around that post. And then before we start cutting, I'm gonna take our blower and I'm gonna clean off this mill deck a little bit. We've got all our backstops set up, right? So if I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, what would that be called? So if I keep doing, if something's not going the way I want it to, or way that it's planned to go, and I keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and the same outcome keeps happening, it's not going the way we want it to, but I keep doing it the same way. What's it called? On a side note, while you think about that, I've asked several times and nobody's been able to come up with what this is called. Anyways, if I keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result, what would a slang term for that be? Well, if I keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and it keeps going wrong, but I'm expecting a different outcome, you'd have to say that I'm stupid. Now ignorance is a different thing. Ignorance is excusable because you don't know any better. But once you do something and it doesn't go the way you want it to, but you do it that way again, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, that's stupid. So I can tell you that I've done the same thing over and over again. You can go back and watch the videos. There are times when it goes right and there's times when it goes wrong. But the amount of times that it's going wrong isn't because of anybody else. Right? The only person that caused it to happen by not doing something to make sure that it was going to go right was me. So when you do stupid things, you can expect a stupid outcome. Hence the log falling off the back of the mill. You know, and I said things like, you know, haste makes waste and all that stuff. And every time I've not had the backstops correct, I was thinking, it's good enough. It'll be okay. And then it goes wrong. And then I waste basically a day. So then I got to pick the log back up off the deck. You know, it's been over a year basically where I've dropped logs off the back side of the mill. We'll see how this goes. We got bug sign. But well, let's get our tape measure, measure this log end to end. See if we have to shim it. That's another thing we keep learning the hard way. You think that if you beat it into my frickin' skull, 16 3/4, you know? How many times do you have to punch me before I realize that if I get up, you gotta punch me again? 14 and a half by 16, not round. $18. I think I should put a 1-inch shim in there. If I don't, I'll regret it. By shimming the log, I'm able to basically split the difference from side to side, and I'm also getting the core of the log, or the pith, which is generally softer wood. And as the wood shrinks, you can control the splitting and twisting to a degree. So we're looking for 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. We're not all the way up against the backstop. So these front dogs work off a cam action. So you push them up against the log And then there's like a lever on there, and when you lock it down, it pushes a little bit more, but you get a mechanical advantage. Dump the sawdust. Gonna rotate the log. We'll go 180. So we're gonna take this flat side, put it down. Dead blow. Rubber plastic mallet. You let off on the dog, tap the bottom, and the dog just slides right over. Either that or you can fight it. Now we need to turn our backstops around so that the 45-degree angle is facing towards the log so it doesn't dig in. If you get the sharp point facing towards the log, when you go to rotate it, that sharp point or the tall side will dig into the log. If you haven't commented, what is it? Once we get the saw shop done, I'll make a deal that will rotate the logs for us so I don't have to do it manually. Now we'll turn our backstops back around. What I do with is I take this tall end, this edge, and I put it at the furthest part out to the side. Generally it's about halfway up the log. So what I mean by that is if this is the log, you get the round part. So the furthest point from the center, if you go straight from the center out to the side, which is about 50% of the way up. So that point I want about right there. So this I'll send through the chipper shredder, and then those chips will go into the food forest. All right, we have our backstops so that the short side is facing the log, while the 45-degree is sloping down towards the log. Anybody? If you haven't, what's this? Now we're going to turn this up 90 degrees. Yellow jackets are coming out. I've seen some. So hopefully they're filling their bellies with the boric acid and apple juice mixture that we scattered around. It really works. If you got a yellow jacket problem, just get the some boric acid, 100% pure boric acid, some apple juice, a tin can, and poke some holes in the tin can opposite each other at the open end. Put a little bit of boric acid in the can. It's a powder, white powder, 100% pure boric acid, and then hang them out where you generally see yellow jackets, or hang them around. They'll kill, they say, up to 3 miles. They'll kill the yellow jackets. But the first year we were on the property, we had yellow jackets. One stung me right between the toes, and I was actually taking a shower, and you know, he let me have it, and it's like wham, and it's that burning, intense sting. And then he hit me again, and he hit me again, and he hit me again. Yellow jackets can sting you multiple times. And then I think they did it again that year. I got stung, and it swells out, it burns and swells up. But I'm gonna get rid of this sawdust. But the boric acid last year, the first full summer that we were here, I put the boric acid out with the apple juice, and we didn't have any yellow jackets. We saw some, and then we didn't see any. It took care of it. Another one for the chipper shredder. Good enough for barnwood siding. For 4 3/4 to the center of the pith. Five 3/4 to the center of the pith. So we want to get a timber that's 8 1/4. So I can roll this. Let me take it off of this side. I gotta roll the log over the front. Yeah. So our pith isn't going to finish exactly in the center, but it will be about 3/4 of an inch off. So with an 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, I think we'll be okay. So the bottom side now is a 90-degree square corner. This will go to the chipper shredder. All right, now we got a cant. So I'm gonna take this dimension here down to 8 1/4, and then all these boards I'm gonna cut off at 1 inch and we'll be able to use it for siding it for the barn. A nice 1x board. Okay. Now we're down, get out of the way. We're down to a rough 8 1/4. And it puts our pith we're about 3 5/8 and 4 1/2-ish. So our pith isn't dead center, but it's not that far off on this end. It's another nice siding board. I could tell that, well, one, it's harder to push the mill through, but on the trailering edge, and this side here is the trailering edge, you see start getting these hairs. It's time to change the blade out. The other thing that will happen is if the blade is dull, as the blade's going through the wood, hitting different densities, the blade will have a tendency to rise and dive. So you'll start having waves through the board. So those boards that we just cut off this cant, where I got the 2 parallel sides, it's basically square cut. We got a whole bunch of finished or neat 9 3/16 boards. Now we need to rotate the cant again to finish cutting the other side. Where's my tape measure? I know I had put marks on here, but I think I might have cut them off. So going this way, we got about 4 1/4, 4 1/2. So it looks as though I gotta rotate the cant up. So you get all these on this trailering edge here. All these hairy things. That's because it's getting close to having to change the blade. So it's basically tearing the back side of the cant out. Hey, so we got to rotate this cant up this way. It's got to rotate towards me. If you haven't commented on what this is called a cant hook. Oh, perfect. Take one more cut and we'll have our cant, our timber cant, 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then we got to cut them to length. We want a finished dimension of 52 inches. So that means I'm going to mark to that side of 52, right? So the edge of my line is the 52. Okay, and when I cut it, I want to make sure that I leave the line. So I marked it across the top and across the front side, and when I cut it, my blade is going to be on this side. So if this is my blade, and accounting, this whole thing would be my blade, right? And the thickness of this speed square, it would be the kerf. So when I cut this, I want to leave the line. And then I'm going to lose the thickness of the square. Does that make sense? If I cut on the line, I'm going to lose the thickness of the square, which is approximately 3/16 of an inch, right? And I'd have that split on both sides. If I cut to the inside, this piece is going to be 3/16 of an inch too short. So I want to make sure that my saw blade comes down on this side of the line. So my finished piece finishes at 52. Yeah, see? Right down the edge of the line. So this piece here is 52 inches. 52. Make sure you can see it. $52. So I need to repeat that all the way down the timber. Weigh a ton. Lizards. So we're either gonna need 14 or 13 more, depends on if we can make use out of this short one. Now we need to anchor seal these. I got to anchor seal both ends of this one, both ends of the one all the way to the front out there, and we need to see if we can use this one. This is short. I need my tape measure, but this one's short. See if we can use it somewhere. If I can, I'm going to use it. Let's get the anchor seal and seal both ends of these. I bet you guys up on the hill behind where the timber frame is going to be built. So we want to seal the end grain of this so the ends don't dry out quicker than the rest of the timber, because what will happen is the wood will check and crack. It will build tension and it will crack. So hopefully by sealing the ends we're going to be able to prevent that. And then just like the other ones, I'm going to seal an inch down the edge approximately. It's kind of like with a boat, or especially a sailboat. How much caulking or bedding compound do you need when you're setting your deck hardware? Well, you know you have enough when it's oozing out the sides. And then you use some denatured alcohol to clean up the excess that oozes out the sides. That way you know that the fitting is fully bedded. This one's 2. This one's a little short. I'm hoping I can use it somewhere. Either way, I don't want it to split. And our final full-size one. Now we're gonna do the other side. Oh, my back. Is this the short one? Yes. Short. Okay, now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 1 in the center here where the utilities are coming up. So we need 19. And we have 5 for sure. So we need 14 more. And hopefully this short one we can use, and then we just need 13 more. Oh, we're coming to the end. of another productive day. It's amazing how productive a day can be if you slow down a little bit, think about what you're doing, don't take shortcuts, and do it right. So we got our log milled down. We're gonna load another log. So we loaded a log today. We got it milled down. We got them cut into 52-inch pieces for our timber frame build, so that we can get our foundation built up. That's where our mill is. I gotta clean this up. I gotta get another log loaded. Lady, come on. Poseidon, what are you doing? Poseidon, if he thinks that you're leaving him behind, he busts out. The screen door won't hold him. You can hear him when he's coming out. Bang! He just pushes it with his nose. Lady! Come on, lady. We still have the water coming out of the hillside. I want to show you something real quick before we say goodbye. And then I got to show you the timber frame site. About a week ago, I cut this madrone down. You can always tell that it's coming to the end of the day because the sun is on the west side. This time of year, it's up high enough that it isn't behind the mountain. But see if you guys can see this right here. This stump. You can see the water coming out of it. But that's how much water. Yeah, it's wet. Whoops. It's wet. Oh. Yeah, give you a close up. But we cut this about a week ago. You can see how much water it's weeping out, and it's water. Oh. What that stump will do is it will send out branches and new leaves. Side in, lady. But yeah, that's how much water those madrones pull out of the ground. So if you got other trees that you'd like to grow or other things, types of plants you'd want to grow or flourish, you gotta thin those madrones out. They're really a renewable timber source, or at least firewood. They burn hotter, longer. They're a harder wood than oak. Actually, a better burning wood than oak. But come here, lady. Let's say hi to everybody. Oh, there we go. This is lady. Lady. Say hi. So we have Lady. She's a small Boston Terrier. We have Poe. He's an extremely large Boston Terrier. Then we have Poseidon, the boxer. So here's our timber frame site. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 19. One of them's a little short, so we're gonna see if we can use that. It's either that or I'm gonna have to shorten them all. I really don't want to do that, but we gotta cut tenons what I'm going to do is in an evening or an early morning before the sun is fully up, I'll get a laser level and I'll shoot a line and mark it against all these, and then we got to cut tenons on the end, and then the beams, these beams right here, which are 7x10s, that will run the length. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 running the length, and then the floor joists will go from fore to aft and run over the tops of those. And I'm debating on what I want to do for spacing on those. I know I have to do blocking around the outside edge and that type of thing. But this is the short one. I marked it with an S. That's where we are. I need one more of these 7x10s. I got one put together, one in pieces, one down below, which is put together, which I got to get up here, which is going to go along the back wall, because I'm not going to be able to get it in here. That's where we're at, and then we'll put the floor joists spanning across those. Make sure it's all about your attitude. You're having your best day. God bless.